Well, I started working at Wake Forest in 1999, and when I started at Wake, everyone said there were two people that you needed to know in Charlotte, one being Porter Byram and the other person being Graham Denton.
My first impression, it was clear that Graham was a fun-loving guy, always seemed to have a smile. He seemed to attract other people that liked to be around him.
Think of the most outgoing, friendly person you know and the smartest business person you know and put them together in one person. That's Graham.
And he just had this winsome smile, and Graham had this sincerity that everybody around the table always believed, you know what, if we'll be of goodwill here, we can actually go get that done and finish that.
Graham was my mentor my entire career. He was always somebody I looked up to because he represented everything that was good about Wake Forest and our company and community.
Once we were negotiating with Baptist Hospital representing Wake Forest Health Sciences, and we had some really difficult moments where it appeared to me that the chasm was so great there was no way we were going to cross it. And he had a very calming influence to be able to say, let's think about a plan, how we get through that, there'll be another day, and he would always have the ability to bring it back to the table.
I always admired the fact that he dealt with the problem we were having to solve, but he did it in a way that he got everybody to participate, and again, was always the voice of reason.
Candidly, things were not going particularly well with our integration discussions. And Graham called me one day and said, what can I do personally? And I asked him to make a critical phone call, and the very next day we were back on track. And it was that behind the scenes, strong leadership, but actually his willingness to, I wouldn't say compromise, but his willingness to listen to both sides and to get it done.
He worked hard, but he always loved to get that big bass voice of his out, belting out beach tunes and leading the band, and so that was always Graham, leading whether in business or leading when we were having fun.
You know, fairly soon after we met Graham and Ann, they invited us up to Blowing Rock to have lunch one day. And we stopped by their home, and we'd never visited there before. And as anyone knows who's been there, you walk in that house and you are immediately immersed in Wake Forest memorabilia. And it became very clear to me on that visit that Graham lived and breathed Wake Forest.
We had a noon football game back around 2000, 2001, and that particular day we had been changing some catering around and did not have the same caterer that he'd been used to. And this particular Saturday, we were serving quiche. And that particular afternoon, he made a couple comments to us that, what are we doing serving quiche on a Saturday for a football game? And to this day, since then, we've never served quiche again. Graham thought football games needed to be fried chicken and barbecue.
And this goes back a long way. His dad had gone to Wake Forest. I think it was 1930, and his dad played football at Wake. So Graham had Wake Forest blood running through his veins from the day he was born.
Not only did he tell the stories of the past, but he relished the everything about Wake Forest today, not only in terms of participating, but in leading the many efforts that he did at Wake.
It was the caring part that I think made such a big difference with Graham. He cared so much, and it was genuine, and everyone around him felt that.
The grace which he showed once he contracted his serious illness was just remarkable. I can remember visiting him last fall. He was obviously in pain, but once again, it was never just about Graham, and the tremendous courage and faith that he showed was just remarkable.
Back in August when we were up in Blowing Rock, in fact it was the last time that we were up there when he was under the effects of chemo and the cancer. He played golf with us, with my wife and I. It was after it had been raining for several days and they made you keep the carts on the path. And I told Graham from the beginning, I said, just don't worry about this. This is too much. He said, no, we're going to play, and he never uttered one word of complaint, never said he was tired. And that really held true during the rest of his battle with the cancer.
Just walked around with a sense of gratitude for life, for his family, for his friendships, for Wake Forest, for all the things that really had brought him so much joy in life. There was never a time you were around Graham that you didn't feel better about life.
I miss so much about Graham. I'll miss his positive attitude, his caring, his friendship.
I think all of us will miss Graham. He was just a great asset and a good friend, and when he talked to you, he really made you feel special. And because we shared that common bond and love of Wake Forest, it just made our friendship really special.
There aren't many people who love an institution as much as Graham Denton loved Wake Forest. And when we lose someone like that, you lose an awful lot.
I read something the other day that Henry David Thoreau had written, and it was, "Be true to your work, your word, and your friend." And that was Graham. That embodies Graham.